Have you ever found yourself cheering for the villain in a cartoon? You know, the one causing all the chaos? Why do we love these bad guys so much? Well, we're diving into the world of villainous laughs, schemes, and characters that you can't help but adore. Get ready, because we're exploring what makes these villains so fascinating and why we secretly want to be them. Let's start with the most mischievous cartoon villains. From the wicked Maleficent to the sly Scar, they've been captivating audiences for years. Maleficent wasn't just evil. She was a complex, misunderstood character. And suddenly, we see the villain in a new light. Scar, on the other hand, with his witty one-liners and hunger for power, is not only a villain, but a personality we can't resist. His confidence and charm make him endlessly entertaining, and his tragic fall adds depth to his character. Now, let's talk about villains who are funny, too. Gru from Despicable Me starts off as a bad guy planning to steal the moon, but grows into someone we love. His awkwardness, his minions, and his transformation from villain to hero are pure comedy gold. They make him relatable and endearing. But what really makes these villains stand out is their multi-dimensional personalities. Take Syndrome from The Incredibles. He's not just a bad guy with wild plans. He's a guy who wanted to be special, to be recognized, and his villainous actions stem from a place of rejection. That vulnerability makes him interesting, and we can't help but feel for him. And who could forget Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb? His ridiculous inventions and constant failures make him both hilarious and strangely lovable. Despite his clumsy nature, he just wants to be taken seriously, and his absurd journey makes us root for him, even when he's failing miserably. What makes these villains so special is that they're not just evil for the sake of being evil. They have dreams, motivations, and ambitions. The more we learn about their backgrounds, the more we start to see them as characters, not just villains. Take Ursula from The Little Mermaid. She wasn't just a sea witch causing trouble. She was power-hungry, wanting control over the sea. Her backstory adds depth, making her fascinating and, in some ways, even sympathetic. The best villains have something we can relate to, a core emotion that connects us to them. We all have a bit of villain in us, whether it's jealousy, insecurity, or wanting attention. Jafar from Aladdin is a perfect example. He wasn't evil for no reason. He was ambitious and frustrated with his life, wanting more. His extreme plot for the genie's power was over the top, but deep down, he was just another guy wanting to win big. And we can't forget the Shrek villains. Whether it's Lord Maximus Farquaad or the conniving fairy tale characters that make life hard for Shrek and Fiona, these villains stand out because they're so ridiculous. But the funniest part? They think they're the heroes of their own stories. Take Farquaad, for example. He's a short, power-hungry ruler who's willing to go to extreme lengths to get what he wants. His absurd actions and unrelenting desire to control the land only make him more comical. And of course, Shrek's hilarious retorts just make it all even better. All these characters have one thing in common: they steal the show. In cartoons, the villains are often the ones we remember most. Whether it's their laughs, their schemes, or just the way they make us feel, they stick with us long after the credits roll. And the best part? We don't even mind. They add spice, excitement, and a whole lot of color to the world of animation. They're the ones who keep us on our toes, leave us in stitches, and make us think about what it really means to be good or bad. Now, let's take a closer look at how these villains shape the stories they're in. Without a good villain, the plot can feel flat, like a pancake that's missing syrup. These bad guys add the tension, the obstacles, and the drama that make the hero's journey so much more exciting. For example, take Toy Story's Lotso. He's not just a grumpy, big teddy bear. He's the perfect antagonist who creates chaos in the daycare, challenging Woody and Buzz's leadership. His cruel, yet clever personality keeps the toys on edge, creating suspense and excitement. Lotso's actions, no matter how dark, drive the plot forward and make the eventual triumph of the heroes even sweeter. And who can forget about the villains who just make everything around them feel more epic? Like in Frozen, where Prince Hans goes from charming prince to total backstabber. His betrayal wasn't just about him wanting the throne, it was about his need to prove he could be more than just a second son. His plot threw Elsa and Anna into a desperate fight for survival. It's moments like these that keep us glued to our screens. The villains bring a sense of unpredictability that makes the hero's victories feel even more earned. And you know what? Sometimes we kind of enjoy seeing the heroes struggle a bit. It makes their success feel even bigger. Sometimes, the villains are so over the top that they're just a pure source of entertainment. Take The Emperor's New Groove, for example. Yzma, with her eccentric personality, exaggerated facial expressions, and hilarious plans to eliminate Emperor Kuzco, is one of the funniest villains ever. She's a character that's almost impossible to take seriously, and that's what makes her so lovable. She's got that crazy aunt vibe, and every time she's on screen, you know you're in for a laugh. But despite her cartoonish absurdity, she still manages to cause quite a bit of trouble, proving that even the silliest villains can leave a mark. But here's the thing. As much as we love these villains, they wouldn't be as memorable if they didn't have style. Think about Captain Hook from Peter Pan or Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians. They've got flair, they've got drama, and they've got presence. These villains are always dressed to impress, with their fancy costumes and commanding gestures. It's that combination of style and substance that makes them stand out from the crowd. They're not just evil, they're iconic. And then there's the villains who aren't just bad. They're also misunderstood. One of the most interesting types of villains is the one who feels like the world owes them something. That's where we get characters like Megamind. He starts as a villain, but as we dig deeper into his backstory, we realize that his whole life has been about trying to prove himself after being overshadowed by the perfect hero. It's this emotional layer that makes him such a great character. Villains like Megamind show us that sometimes even the most evil actions come from a place of hurt and longing for acceptance. And who could forget the villains who are pure chaos? Like take the Joker from Batman the Animated Series. This guy doesn't want to take over the world or rule a kingdom. Nope, he just wants to watch everything burn. His unpredictability, his chaotic nature, and his obsession with Batman make him both terrifying and oddly fascinating. Every time he shows up, you know things are about to get wild. That's the power of a true chaotic villain. They don't play by the rules, and you never know what they'll do next, which makes them incredibly exciting to watch. One of the best things about cartoon villains is how they get creative with their evil plans. From evil inventions to mind-bending schemes, these villains know how to keep things interesting. Take Dr. N. Gin from Crash Bandicoot. This guy's got all sorts of gadgets and gizmos that could put any evil genius to shame. The way these villains use their intelligence for their devious plans is often one of the most fun parts of watching them. It's like you're on the edge of your seat, trying to figure out what ridiculous contraption they're going to create next. But not all villains need a grand plan. Sometimes, all they need is a little bit of attitude. That's what makes villains like Gaston from Beauty and the Beast so memorable. He's not trying to take over the world, he's just trying to get what he wants, namely, Belle. His arrogance, his obsession with power, and his belief that he's the best guy in the village make him both hilarious and terrifying at the same time. Gaston's story proves that sometimes a villain doesn't need superpowers or evil gadgets, just a big ego will do. And then there are the villains who are, well, just plain bad in the most delightful way. Like, who doesn't love the classic evil stepmother trope? From Cinderella's wicked stepmother to the one in Snow White, these villains make everything feel like one big dramatic soap opera. They're always scheming, always creating trouble, and never once thinking about the consequences. But that's what makes them so fun to watch. Their wickedness is almost too over the top to take seriously, but we can't look away. They're the villains you love to hate, and watching them face their downfall is always a treat. So, what's the secret to a great villain in animation? It's all about personality, complexity, and a dash of unpredictability. Whether they're hilarious, tragic, or downright terrifying, these villains are what make cartoons so much fun. They challenge the heroes, shake things up, and keep us entertained every step of the way. They might be evil, but without them, the stories just wouldn't be the same. So next time you find yourself laughing at the villain's evil laugh or rooting for their clever plans, just remember, they're the ones who make the adventure worth watching.